Yeah, yeah. What they saying? I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine.
Welcome to the H.G.R.G podcast. We back with another one, fellas, and we got a special guest. How we doing, fellas?
How you doing? How you doing?
Kelly.
We got a good one this one. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. We got a good guy coming on here showing some love. We're not talking about Lance though.
Yeah, we
Not
ain't
at all.
never talking about me. I'm just here. It's all good. It's all good. But I will tell you who we do have here. All right. It's my man, Tyrin Tyson, also known as the Urban Nurse. How you doing, man? Welcome to the show. We appreciate you.
I'm doing good, fellas. I want to thank DT for bringing me on, for staying consistent, you know what I'm saying, keeping on top of me and getting me here so we can make some magic.
Absolutely. I appreciate you. Appreciate
Definitely appreciate you, man.
Yeah, DT don't leave nobody alone. But and listen, it's perfect that we got you here. Obviously we've come in some of your lives and we're watching you on social media, and we like to bring impactful people on our platform, to let the world know, hey, you don't just hear from us, hear from people like Tyron. You still don't know about real estate? You don't know whether to jump in. You don't know if you ain't got the right mindset. You don't know if it's the right time. H.G.R.G got you. We just dropped the ebook. Go check it out. It's in the description below. We appreciate you once again for coming to the platform, right? Mm-hmm. So I want to start with this. I want you to introduce yourself to the people. Let them know, how you got the name, the Urban Nurse, what you do, what's your lane, and why we're here today for sure.
Most definitely. So my name is Tyrin Tyson. I'm a husband, a father, registered nurse for 6 years. Now I've transitioned into financial planning and real estate. So really trying to create that transition from the bedside, the clinical setting within healthcare, to really becoming an entrepreneur and getting into real estate and starting my own business. So I started the Urban Nurse off, man. When I initially got into nursing, was just graduating. It was hard for me when I was in school to find other nurses who looked like me. So when I got on social media, I'm searching up other Black male nurses. I'm not seeing any whom I identify with, who I know that I could relate to outside of the nursing setting. So I decided to honestly create my own alter ego, or superhero, whatever you want to call it, because I felt like, when they talk about code switching a lot. So when stepping into these different environments where they're not used to seeing people like myself, I wanted to separate myself and create an identity within that. So I'm born and raised from Baltimore, Maryland. And they call that a concrete jungle. So I really I just call myself the Urban Nurse, man. It's because it's not too many brothers like myself who come from the background I come from that are doing it to the level I'm doing it within the healthcare setting. So that's really how I got here, and got to this point now.
Got you. Okay, so just to recap real quick. So it was healthcare was your lane, or is your so that's what you went to school for. Once again, you're sitting here. I'm not saying it's an identity crisis, but you're like, wait a minute. Am I the only person here?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're almost looking for an outlet, and then you kind of turn it and become the outlet, become the alter ego, right?
Yeah.
That's how we get the Urban Nurse, right?
Exactly. I knew that, especially once I got into the healthcare space, and I just look around, and I'm the only person that walk like me. I'm the only person that talk like me. And I know it's like I'm not the only person out here who feels this. I know it's probably people who don't have the assertiveness to speak their story and say the truth.
Wow.
So I just decided to step up and be that representation for people who come behind me, and brothers who trying to, you know what I'm saying, I call it really flip this nursing thing into something bigger. So
That's
that's
great.
Well,
something I gotta.
question on that. Why nursing? Why did you pick nursing?
Man, it wasn't my first pick, honestly. My grandmother has been a nurse all my life. Initially, I was trying to go. I'm a big animal guy, so I was trying to go to veterinary medical school, but I didn't realize that was like going to medical school and becoming a doctor. So, you know, all the time loans that come along with that. And my grandmother was like, "Listen, you a hustler, baby. You work. You know, that's not gonna be an issue." And then, you know, with nursing, it's so much freedom and flexibility to an extent. Whereas though you can work anywhere, you always gonna have a job. So I was chasing like the football dream for a while after high school, but then realized like, man, I know I'm not going to the league. It's time to really focus up and focus on career wise what's going to be next.
Mm.
Because I see that's where a lot of guys fall off. They keep chasing the dream longer than necessary, and end up you realize I'm about to hit 30 and you haven't even started life yet. So I have always been really ahead of the curve when it comes to certain things. So I was like, man, I know the Division 1 scholarship and then the NFL is just unrealistic. So let me just figure out a way to make the most I can in the real world. So
Absolutely,
Really,
absolutely.
you made two pivots.
yeah, yeah, two
So
pivots.
he was for a dog.
Yeah.
I pay this, you know. So I get
That's
it.
that's me. I'm one of those guys when I'm gonna go all in and I'm gonna figure out, see how it feel. But once I'm in it, if it ain't adding up, I'm not about to keep wasting my time. So
Right.
even as you can see, the transition within nursing, from nursing to which was an easy transition from nursing to real estate, and then within real estate becoming a financial advisor, it's just I always kind of see the forest beyond the trees, and
Mm.
I see like, all right, it's a need here or it's opportunity here. So let me be the first one to try it out, see what's going on before people catch on, or it becomes bigger than me. You know what I'm saying? Before I can even make an impact.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. I like the mindset. The mindset is if it's not working, that's an entrepreneurial mindset. If it's not working, you gotta get it up.
Right.
It's time to give it up and keep moving and find something else. So that is you just show your mindset off the from nursing to real estate to
Well,
the outlet. Sorry.
so let me bring it back one step. So you said from nursing to real estate. Why real estate?
Man, why not, man? And real estate has been
Must
one of
be
those
nice.
time
Love
tested,
it.
you know what I'm saying, through and through. It's when I think of building wealth or people with money, it all real estate is always in the conversation at some point.
Mm.
And that has been really a goal of mine because I just looked at it as being a businessman. So owning real estate, building wealth or being rich, to what my idea initially was. So I was like, this feels like the only way that I can really like tangibly right now create wealth, with the opportunity that I had within healthcare through COVID. And I just didn't see me going any other route because I look at it like you either create a business, you either invest in a business, or you invest in real estate. One of those three things,
Mm.
um, is that's the only true way to increase your income,
Yes,
generate
sir.
revenue, and build equity at the same time. So that's kind of how I made that switch.
So real estate was just a no-brainer for you? Was
No
it anyone
brainer.
that introduced you to it? Was there a mentor in there? What was it that turned you on to real estate? I mean, was it just common knowledge for you? Did you know somebody? Give me that part of it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So initially, of course, before actually becoming a real estate investor, I just thought owning a property, owning a house, buying a house. Um, it's done that way. I didn't know the formula. I didn't know the actual process of it, but I'm like, this is the thing. And then I had a buddy of mine who was a travel nurse prior to me, who's a Haitian brother. So he's just a hard working man. And I seen him buying properties like, well, either buying properties, renovating properties. He was just in houses constantly. And I was asking him, like, I know how much I make. I can really get an idea of how much he make. And I'm like, what my idea of what it meant to invest in real estate. I'm like, there's no way he's making this much. Because we all got those preconceived notions and just don't really understand the creative ways and how to
Right.
finesse the game. So he's like, man, I'm working 60 plus hours overtime a week. Everything I'm making surplus, I'm decreasing my expenses. I'm living, below my means. He's like, everything else is going towards real estate because this is my way out. And within COVID, it was hard just work wise, what I'm saying, losing so many people
Yeah.
nonstop every shift. And it burnt me out. And I was just like, man, I know I can't do this forever. It's just working for somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Working this schedule, having to do this in order to make money. I was like, it's got to be something else. And then, came across bigger pockets on top of, the information that my buddy was giving me because after he told me it wasn't no extra, nothing else funny was going on in the back end. He wasn't making no extra money somewhere else. And I realized, okay, it's possible, one, so I can do it with my income. But then I just needed information, and he just threw me a couple bigger pockets books, threw me some links. I took it from there and ran with it. And me, I'm gonna dive and go 100% all in, like I said initially. But once I get in, that's when I kind of feel around, and then that's when reality hits, and what I'm saying, the
Absolutely.
starts. So
So I got acquainted with Ty and with one of our students, right? So, we have a mentorship course in class and all that stuff. So we had a student of ours who had closed on his property. Excuse me. And after he closed on his property, we brought him a little champagne bottle, celebrated whatever. So after that, he was like, yo, I feel like I should be like celebrated in a different way. He was being funny, comical. And he was like, I watched the episode on he said I watched a Spotify episode, a podcast or whatever. And I was like, Spotify, you watch, podcasts on Spotify? I was like, I really didn't even realize you watching on that. So then I called Jerry. Jerry, is our podcast on Spotify? And he was like, yes, it's been there. Because I didn't even realize that was a platform because I'm a dinosaur. So nevertheless, I just did a did a Spotify search. I literally went to Spotify. I put real estate podcast, and then a podcast came up. It was Real Estate Rookies, right? So I clicked on the first episode. The first episode I watched, they interviewed Ty.
Ah, got it. Got it.
So, and then on that episode, I listened to the whole thing. He told his story, his journey, and I would like you to share some of that. His ups and downs, problems that he had with, when you invest in your property, how much you kind of like messed up and paid for your mess ups and learned through that. I think that's relevant information for this podcast. That's what we talk about. We talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. We don't just share, real estate. You're going to be rich tomorrow. It's not easy. Like it takes some work, and you got to have an amazing team to be successful in this field, right? And without all of those, it's a myth, right? So, if you don't mind, can you get into, your first real estate purchase and how that looked?
yeah,
Yeah, and
so
we
man,
do that real quick though. Every time you said bigger pockets, we're gonna voice over H.G.R.G and put that in. No problem. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah,
Now you got
so
to give credit though. You got to give credit. You got to
yeah,
give.
you know, little drops here and there, but
You got to give
so
credit.
my first
I'm
deal,
just shout
man,
out to the pockets. I'm playing.
my first deal was in the midst of COVID, man. And healthcare professionals, especially traveling healthcare professionals, we were making upwards of $10,000 a week, right? Depending on where you were at, it could be 8 to 10K a week. And I knew like they've never paid nurses, healthcare professionals anywhere near this amount before. I just knew I'm like, there's no way this shit is lasting
Right.
long term. You know what I'm saying? There's no way this is just gonna be around forever. I know the well gonna run dry. I
Mhm.
just need to maximize it and do whatever I need to do with it. But in my head, I'm not knowing the actual wealth building process and what it takes to build a team and everything that comes around to get into that level you desire. I'm like, I'm gonna buy 2 properties. I'm gonna get all the rental income that I can, and this is what's gonna replace my nursing income. So
Mhm.
I'm like, it's really only gonna take me like a year or two. You know what I'm saying? I'm listening to bigger pockets, everybody on there. And this is not the rookies. I'm listening to the big dogs. So everybody coming in
Yeah.
50 to 100 doors. You know what I'm saying? It was just making big moves where I'm like, I'm not the person that when I start to hear opportunities like that, I don't Like I don't fold, you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking shit, if they can do it, I know I can do it. And I don't, you know what I'm saying?
I'm up next.
Yeah, I'm up next. It's my opportunity. I see it, so let me just figure out how to fit myself in it. And I'm like, you know, there were no problems I couldn't solve with money essentially as I was making this money. So I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and buy. I got read the books. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna give me two properties at once because it's feasible right now. I can afford it. And I'm gonna just get in the game, get in and get out 3 to 6 months, have them rented out, and I'm looking to do 1, 2 properties a year. And I was looking for that $10,000 to $20,000 a month in rental income in order to replace my nursing income. But man, that was the start of the storm. Like I really shot myself in the foot because
I love this story.
I'm coming in with no experience at all. Never walked through a property. Only thing I did was buy my first house. So I bought my first primary residence in 2018, which was a very seamless process because I've just always had my ducks in order. Not good credit, I had the new career, so everything just kind of lined up, and that was just a quick and easy process.
Yeah.
But now after purchasing these two properties, I was very impatient because again, I just felt that clock ticking over me on you don't know when this well gonna run dry.
Yes,
So
sir.
use everything you can right now. Whatever problems pop up, you fix them as you go along.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I don't want to have to go through the process of trying to find the right deal because I didn't want to get that analysis paralysis and just be sitting on money. So I end up going through the auction, not going through the actual auction price, but I mean auction process. But I paid an additional fee just to get the properties off the market because I didn't want them to run it up.
Mm.
So got both of the properties off. Got both of the properties off market, but through the auction, and then that's when it started because one, I never did my due diligence in actually going through the properties with like an inspector and seeing how much the repairs would cost. My what do you call it? As far as my what do you call the work list and things that the
The
problems that
contractor.
need to be repaired, yeah, with the contract scope of work. So my
Scope of
scope
work,
of
yeah.
work,
Awesome.
everything I was doing was all coming up off the top of my head as far as what I'm seeing from those general numbers from the book. I was working with a realtor who
Hold
had
on.
invested in.
Quick. So you say you got your scope of work and the numbers, you got that based off of what you read in the book.
Yeah, so I got that based off of what I read in the book, and because I had a buddy of mine who was a realtor who was at that time it seemed like light years ahead of me. Now knowing then he was just only one step ahead of me. So the information he's giving me is like, oh yes,
It's not funny, but
bathroom.
it's funny.
Yeah, bathroom should be around this much. You know what I'm saying? Maybe around 3, 5 thousand. So I'm just throwing in the numbers to make it look good for the hard money lender as I'm giving them
Yeah.
the rehab budget. Because I'm not thinking, I'm just trying to get through the process. And you know, because of that scope of work that I had, I ended up under budgeting for both properties in regards to getting renovations done. That ended up sending me down the path of using a family friend to take the cheap route without having to go and actually get the licensed contractor, so we didn't have to go through that whole inspection process. Using off the back of the truck as far as material and supplies because during COVID everything was through the roof. So I'm
Everything.
like, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna have to get the Migos to go up Home Depot, whatever they got to do. Let's just get it done. So, so yeah,
Yeah.
man. It
Hey.
was it ended up turning like initially I thought it was like I said 3 to 6 months for both properties. It ended up being a year and a half process where I'm holding
Wow.
these properties until actually getting them renovated. And
Mm.
right now, in speaking, I'm not even at 100% vacancy on my multifamily property because
Capacity mean.
yes, sorry, yeah, I'm not at occupancy. I meant to say I'm not at 100% occupancy
Gotcha.
because just trying to figure out things as I go along with getting one tenant in there, especially doing a Section 8, understanding the inspections that I got to go through with that. So everything has slowed down, the money dried up. Now the problems and the responsibilities I'm having with these rental properties, I'm now having to deal with them on a basic budget and basic income. So now everything is not, oh, I can just pay for the problem. It's like all right, we're gonna have to sit down, we're gonna have to work things out. See, now we gotta
The
go a
two
unit at a
carry the
time.
two.
Yeah.
Now we need the
Now
Migos
instead of
for
the whole
real
property,
though.
we just gonna go
Now we
one
need the
unit at a
Migos for
time
real.
and figure it out. So
That's funny.
that's been the journey. But like in the midst of it, man, I just the worst year and a half of my life because I'm like just constant regret of not knowing what I put myself into because of the overzealousness and being excited but not realizing, man, anytime you start anything new, I don't care what it is, it's always going to be hard in the beginning and you always going to pay that debt of not knowing. So that's, paying my tuition in life to gain that experience. But ultimately, at the end of the day, that year and a half has made me a stronger person, stronger man at the end of the day as an investor.
That's a
Uh,
perfect segue. I think we all got the
uh,
same.
yeah, we do. I just want to ask a question. Why not stop?
Why not stop?
You went through
Shit,
the hardship.
I
You
did. I was trying to, man. I had throughout the process, I ended up putting both properties on the market because I'm like, let me just cut my losses, see what I can get out of it.
Wow.
But again, even that process wasn't as fast as I thought it would be. So
yes,
it's like
it takes some
anytime I
time.
talk to somebody, like, man, why you don't just hold on to it, finish it out, do what you got to do, like just get through it. And again, I'm the type of person, I'm a alpha male at the end of the day. So I'm looking to the left and to the right, and these guys that are telling me to keep going, this is what you got to go through to get it out. Again, I'm like, if they can do it, I know I can do it. That is no different from me and them. So I'm like, I know I can do it. I just gotta get through this storm. And it was just keeping my head down until the skies cleared up. And when I
Mm.
looked up, it was new light. But then it was just realizing that's just getting to another level, and now we starting back over because that was just the stabilization process. Now we got to get these tenants in, we got to get them through the leasing process. Then we got to make sure, because when tenants move in, they start to pick at every little thing where they see.
Absolutely.
So you got to get them stabilized in the property. So it's just been like it's door after door after door, and just kind of breaking down each door as we get to it.
Yeah, so
Go ahead, Lance. Go ahead, man.
people that follow us, man, you already know we're very transparent here, and you sound like us, and that's why we always preach not to make a plug here, but with H.G.R.G, what we do is we give people the team. We've always preached that. Listen, because you had the information, or you felt like you had the information, right? Am I right for saying
Yeah,
that?
no, for right, that's a
Right?
fact.
So you felt like you had the information. All three of us here on this side also felt like we had the information at one point, right? But when you get in the field, it's a lot different. You
Lance.
start realizing what you really need,
Lance, do
right?
me a favor, Lance. Speak for
Oh,
yourself.
oh,
And
okay.
you also don't know what you don't know either once you realize and start figuring it
Absolutely.
out.
Right.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
what we preach at H.G.R.G is, it's the team. And that's what we give you. My realtor is your realtor. My contractor is your contractor. My property manager is your property manager. It just helps you from bumping your head like we all have. And obviously, Ty, you have as well. So it would make, just imagine where you would be if you had a team already to go. No, 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 no. Don't
That
do
that
it.
was that was going to be my next question, right? In your experience with, and I'm not going to say the name of where you got the information from because it sounds like hate, but where you got your information from, right? And the books you read and the platform that they gave you and the information and the battery that they put in your back, right? What would be your 30,000 foot view hindsight? How would you talk to your young self when that person was going through that same process and they have that alpha male, I'm ready, let's go, let's go, let's go, put me in, coach, put me in, coach. What would information would you give that person?
Man, if I can go back hindsight being 2020, I would, understand one in my career and as a real estate investor, um, the book knowledge, all the stuff that you learn from the book, it only just really creates the foundation so that you can start to have certain conversations, so that you can understand certain words and
Certain lingos.
certain lingo, so that you can understand the lingo and just get, what I'm saying, get by. But it's a different experience as far as life that you're gonna go through. And again, it's so much that you don't know, and you're not gonna experience everything. So what I would have done is, instead of going through it, learning about the hardships myself, and paying for those mistakes, I would have honestly been more strategic with my money, really sat on it, really try to really understand the market, because had I known that the market would be like look how it looks today, I would have still had some capital left over from that, along with having worked with, I think mentorship is extremely important,
There you go.
because
Mhm.
having somebody that has already gone through it and can tell you not just don't do this because this is not what you're supposed to do, but don't do this because I did this and this was the end result. So at the end of the day, I,
Absolutely.
I really couldn't make any informed decisions. I was all going off of emotions, and like I said, book knowledge. So I would
Love
have
that.
definitely gone to a mentor, had been more strategic, and really got an understanding of like just the business cycles of real estate,
Love that.
understanding the cycles of the market, understanding the more creative options, and not just going with the first strategy, which was the Burr method, because it was working at that time, but then understanding, all right, why is everybody using the Burr method?
Right.
Why is this the only thing people are teaching? And then like man, it was a wild time during COVID, because we know all the influencers, especially within our community, who were pushing real estate. I'm not gonna say no name, but they got
You
real estate.
can.
You
Oh, so
can.
yeah, like
Oh,
just like
yeah.
so I know
I
like
like
a
to
guy
call them.
named Big Biz was big back in during COVID. The Jay Morrison with the Tesla
Yep.
real estate fund.
Yep,
And
yep, yep,
then
yep.
it just seemed like in every city there was a prominent influencer who was doing real estate. And I at that time I just didn't understand marketing, branding, and what was kind of people just taking advantage of the time and the opportunity, especially because the money was just flowing through the economy.
Yeah.
But like let's just say guys like yourself who've been in the game for some years, they realize, okay, people got money, they're wanting to do better for themselves, put themselves in a better situation. But instead of like truly helping people, they just kind of took advantage of the opportunity and monetize the situation. And that's what I ultimately got caught in, just that eagerness to want to learn. But because I had no experience, because I had no standard knowledge, I was just kind of following anybody, like just aimlessly. So
Mm.
I would have really like sat down, got a mentor, somebody who I know is doing it, would have just studied as far as like real life experience for a good year, and then would have took that money, whatever money I made,
That's powerful.
and just took it one property at a time, real slow like.
That's
So
powerful.
So my question is, when you speak about mentorship, you also spoke about a Haitian individual that you knew. Why not talk to him on a one-on-one, or not get information from him on a one-on-one, and ask him? Because the reason why I ask that before you answer is our pride usually walks in and take over the conversation. So we don't ask for questions because we're prideful. We don't want him to know that we want to get into what he's getting into. Is in our cultures. That's why I'm asking you before you answer the you can answer now. Sorry.
so I don't even think it was that. For me, it's like I'm always the type. I'm not about to keep repeating myself. I'm not about to go out of my way to show anybody my true intentions on what I'm trying to do. And I understand people's time in life is valuable to themselves as well. So it's like and this is a big frustration I get from people that are just coming to my platform and they're just asking like, hey, I want to get into real estate. I don't know where to start. What should I do? And it's like, he did everything he had to do. He told me what was real as far as how he was, making his money, and then he gave me the information that I needed to take and apply it myself.
Right.
Now, I wasn't going to ask him every step of the way, because he was also going through it and in it with himself.
Mhm.
And then we weren't having any partnership on anything, so it was like you can't, like he led me to water, but I can't ask him to help me drink too.
Right,
So it
right.
was just like I took it on myself. All right, I'm gonna take this information you give me and I'm gonna show you like I was dead serious, and I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna get to the next step. I'm gonna show you. And if I got any questions along the way, but everything that I was going through, it just I didn't want to put that burden on somebody else to
Yeah.
try to help me get out of it when I really got myself in it. So just figuring out who's relevant that can help me right now get through this process, because another thing, I was so in the middle, in the eye of the storm as well. It was like it was impossible to ask somebody else to come outside and pull me out. Like I just had to thug it out and get through it however I could.
It's funny how you say, following somebody aimlessly, right? Because here with H.G.R.G, because I mean, listen, we've been podding for a while now. We put out a lot of information, and it's never always just to favor us. We give a lot of information. Go listen. We've had consultations where we go, we're not for you because you want to make $1 million in 2 years, and just Jerry, every episode says this here is a grind and it's a process and it's slow, but you will get there, right? So the reality is that I know you want to make $1 million next year, and we hope you do, right? But with us, we may not be the perfect fit, and we've done that countless times. We tell people, listen, we don't want to own anything. We don't want to Grant Cardone your process, right? It's don't give it to H.G.R.G. We'll show you, we'll hold your hand, right? Because that's what you paid for, but that's your property. That's your name, that's your tenants, that's you. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like we've done a great job in distinguishing, that with students and on our podcast, because I understand exactly what you're saying. Give me 10,000, I'll get you boom, boom, boom. You're like, oh, well, 10,000, I got 10,000. Like you say, I got money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when this well is gonna dry up, so I got 10,000. This dude said he gonna make me rich. I'm going. I'm on go. And a
Yeah.
lot of people feel that way.
Now, I would say, man, I'm gonna tell you guys a story as far as when I went to Eric Thomas's 120 conference. But I 100% agree with you that whoever, everybody watching this H.G.R.G podcast right now, and whoever's following the platform, but you gotta understand, like, uh, you don't just invest in real estate. You become a real estate investor, and it's honestly truly a way of life. And one thing I noticed, just like with the people whom I follow, even the guys that were scamming or whatever, they've been in it for a minute. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
They've been in it long enough to figure out, like, all right, this guy's green behind the ear. They don't really know what they're doing, and this is what I can do with the money. Or so they've been in the game. They may have gotten taken advantage of, but you got to realize, like, this is just a lifestyle that you got to be committed to in the long run. The gains and the fruits of your labor don't come until you 60, 70 years old. But then it's like you don't got to worry about anything. And of course, it can come before, but you can't really be attached to, all right, when I get here, I'll have this lifestyle, I'll be making this amount of money, because it's about who you become in the process along the journey that allows you to get to that point of making that $1 million. But now that you made that $1 million, one, every drop of blood, sweat, and tears you had to do to go through it to get it. And now there's a different appreciation for, one, not just initially starting off in real estate. I wanted to wear the designer clothes and I wanted to have the jewelry, but now that it took me 20 years to get it, and I finally got this million, everything I had to go through, I just want to make sure my daughter can touch a little bit of this. You know what I'm saying? Forget everything else, because I wasn't wearing that or doing that when I was building this. So I know it's not a part of the equation. But
Right.
now I got to do everything I can to hold on to this, so that either one, I can pass it on, or to actually get to enjoy it
Enjoy
within
it,
my
man.
lifetime.
Right.
Enjoy it. Yep.
Big
Oh,
facts.
and then my bad, with the just
Eric Thomas.
following people aimlessly, and looking for a mentor, because that's also a route that I did try. Like, I did try looking for a mentor, and
So that means we're not loud enough. I got
Yeah,
you. I
yeah,
got you.
we gotta
I
step
did
up.
try looking for a
We
mentor,
gotta
but it
step it
was
up.
like, at that time, it's really all about who you're following at the time, who you gravitate towards. And I was like heavy on the Secrets to Success podcast with Eric Thomas. And
Mhm.
there's a guy on there who's the 9 to 5 millionaire. I can't remember his name right now, but when I was in the midst of it, he was like the guy. I'm like, I got to get this guy as my mentor. He was in Chicago. He was a cop, and then ended up getting into real estate. Now he's a real estate mogul. So I'm like, listen, I'm gonna go to this conference and I'm gonna run into him. And this is when I was making good money. So I'm like, I'm gonna run into him and I gotta do something to let him know like I'm different from everybody else at this
I'm
conference.
serious about this.
Yeah, I'm serious. Like, and I'm talking about standing behind walls, just kind of just like I was plotting, like I'm trying to set somebody up. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to line somebody
You
up,
got a
man. I was
line with that.
looking for him, willing to do whatever. And I finally got a, second of his time, and in trying to show how passionate I was about it and understanding like I really ain't had shit going on at the time. I just had some money. I had no experience. I had no value that I could add. And a lot of times with mentorships, it is a symbiotic relationship to where as though it should really be mutually beneficial, right? So
100%.
whether the mentor is benefiting because they're having an impact on somebody's life, getting to actually change somebody's life, or the mentee is getting that life changing experience. But I was just coming up as a random guy just at the conference, and it probably just looked like a weirdo for real. Looking back, but I just hindsight being 2020, I knew how much more work I had to put in. And that's what he told me. He's like, man, you got to just keep putting in the work, keep putting in the work. And at that time I took it as I thought he said something about my mother, because it was like,
Right,
yo, I
right.
just everything I just went through to get in front of you, you gonna
Wow.
tell me to keep doing some fucking work?
Right.
Like, come on, man. Like,
Wow.
give me more. I'm willing to fly out to Chicago, treat you to dinner. You know what I'm saying? Whatever we got to do, I'm
Mhm.
willing to do it. Sent that DM, we get to reach out, we're gonna follow up. I sent a DM, never hear nothing back, and it became, all right, now I gotta show this, brother that I'm not the one to be played with. That
Yeah,
at some point you're gonna cross paths with me again, and it's gonna be a different conversation. And
absolutely.
I may not be as
As
open
polite.
to the, you know what I'm saying? I may not be as polite or open to opportunity, because I always look at it as it's not gonna take me nothing to get to the place of the people that I want to be in. And when I'm climbing up that ladder, you just better be hoping that you're not coming down the ladder at the time, because I remember everything. And that's why, especially, and I appreciate you guys inviting me on this platform, because I feel like I'm a nobody in the sense of my experience in real estate, but getting to share my story to somebody who isn't bigger pockets, but also has the same understanding, experience, and knowledge that I've gone through. It's a different level of respect and
Absolutely.
respect
Yeah.
there. So yeah, that's a little story on my
That's fire.
mentor.
That's fire. Our platform was created on kind of the same notions, right? We are not, again, I'm a dinosaur when it comes to the social media thing. Um, we are not here to like, try to be the most, you know, on your screen sharing time that you're going to see on your timelines. We don't post, our personal lives. We don't really do all that. We're not good at it and we don't want to be good at it. We literally just want to talk about like real life, how to be successful. Because in real life, that's all we know, how to be successful, right? We all live, thank God, amazing lives. Our families are good. We really invest in real estate. We really know how to do it. We really have a team. We've really been through the mud. Lance and Jerry have horror stories. Um, similar to what you're talking about, like how they took losses and, bounced back and built a team and created it. All part of their journey. That part of their journey led them to us, me, Lance, and Jerry, contacting, and then us, forming a business relationship and being able to create something crazy. Once that happened, Jerry and Lance started going unbelievably crazy on buying real estate because now they found the team, right? Once they found the team, it was like, oh my God, like where have you been my whole life? And it just Jerry and Lance didn't stop. They didn't stop. They didn't stop. You know what I'm saying? Then it got to a point where Lance was like, yo, Jerry, yo, bro, let's slow down right quick. We don't even know how much we got right now because it was just so unbelievable because, they come from New York City. They couldn't believe that the properties in this market was this price. And it was like, yeah, we got to get it all. Cause I think they thought it was about to expire.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So they were like, yo, anything in this we got to get it. And if we don't get it, we failed. So I'm like, yo, bro, like this is the norm. Like y'all don't have to like go all in like right now. No, 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 no. I don't think this is gonna be around for another 6 months or 8 months. We got to do it all. But it was like, now listen, look at let me show you this graph. For the past 20 years, this has been the norm. So you're good or whatever. But nevertheless, you know, they started as partners, bumped their head many a times, bumped into me. I've, started in real estate. I bumped my head, me and my wife is my partner in my real estate ventures. And I bumped my head. And then eventually, like I said, we crossed lanes and then we built a business partnership as well as, other things that we do together in real estate. And then, it's coming to this thing, right? So we used to tell our friends, like, all our family and friends, listen, come over here. It's unbelievable. Like Jerry and Lance, they're like, I found this place where I could buy properties for these numbers. And they friends are like, come on, man, stop lying. That's for you. I'm gonna stay over here doing what I do. And I'm doing the same thing. Do this, that. And none of their friends listen. So then Jerry and Lance and I started talking and was like, you know what? Let's bottle this up, because I promise you, if we tell strangers, they're gonna be like, oh wow, where's that at? So we did that, and as soon as we did that, all of our friends were like, how do I pay for that?
Crazy. It was crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's
Unbelievable.
crazy.
Unbelievable.
It's crazy.
And
Once
it's funny. Sorry, go ahead.
Now, once you put a price tag on it, it's like it's real, and now people want to buy it. And when there's no price tag on it, they're like, that's your thing. You can do your thing. It's just mind boggling that our culture doesn't, because that's what I really believe. Somebody like us don't know real estate. They don't teach us real estate, and we're like 2 steps behind.
Financial literacy, financial responsibilities, how to keep money, how to make money grow, right? How to not just get a bag, but how do you keep that bag, and how do you make that bag, grow, right? Generational wealth, setting up your kids, setting up your families, all that, none of those things that, from where we come from, they don't teach. So, we talk like this, Jerry, Lance, and I, and it's like, how do you do it? How do you do it? And then I know how. Let me tell you, and nobody listens. Jerry and Lance, they introduced to me something that was I knew about life insurance on a micro level. Jerry and Lance introduced me to life insurance on a macro level, because they own an insurance company, right?
Okay.
So again, that was God sent, changed my life, right? But had we not had these conversations, I would have probably went through life just thinking, I got this little life insurance policy, little 200,000-300,000, if I'm good. No, this is the quickest way to change generational wealth right here. This little thing right here.
Absolutely.
Just, what I'm saying? So
you borrow from your life insurance. That's all you got to do.
Was life changing.
So it's just same thing across the board. It's just real estate is the foundation. It can bring you so much. Real estate got us in trucking. We got a couple rigs, and then we got life insurance. It's just foundation. If you look at the other culture, the other culture, they always preach real estate. They buy real estate when they were young, and they know depreciation is going to get someone. We never go through that. We don't have those conversations. Our parents don't talk about real estate. They talk about, no disrespect, food stamps. So that's what kills us. That's what kills us, and that's what we reach out to the masses, and we continue to tell us our culture. We need to change. We need to change.
It's so funny though, because what we hear a lot is, I want to be a millionaire. Like this. I'm like, what's wrong with making 5,000 in your first 2 years? You tell me if you make $5,000 a month and you build that over a course of 365 days twice, right? You telling me that's not okay, right? I'm not saying you got to stop there, but it's like we want the millions, but we don't want to build. And it's the wildest thing that we hear. Because we're on the phone with a lot of people. A lot of people, we do consultations all the time. And I'm like, I get on the phone. I'm like, I can't. What are you gonna do with this guy? He wants to make millions, by in January. By January, it's just not feasible. But I'm saying the guy don't want to make $5,000 a month. That's not good enough. I mean, if I give you $5,000 a month every single month, that don't change your life. Even with your 9 to 5, put what you work in your pocket.
Yeah.
Take the money that you put for rent, put in your pocket.
What is your slogan, Lance?
Is it, if I could take away your biggest bill, what would you say to that? And what would your biggest bill be?
Take away your biggest bill in life. What would you do? To me, I'm sold on that. Like where, how?
I mean, if I could take your mortgage away, you tell me life doesn't get better for you?
Definitely get easy. It
It,
definitely
it, it, so this point of having to be a millionaire in a year or two real estate is wild to me.
Yeah.
If you can make 2,500 your first year or 3,000 your first year, and then you make 6,000, 5,000, 6,000 your second year,
You know what it is though, Lance? I'm being
what is
honest.
it?
This social media thing, it's just it's like the falsity of the millionaire word is like it's thrown around so easily. You know how hard it is to be a millionaire? Do you know how hard it is to make $1 million?
And then keep it.
Let me explain this to you. I don't know the actual factual, but I heard this on something like a podcast or something like that. 75% of human beings will never touch $1 million, have never made $1 million in their life. We talking
That's
about
right.
what, 6 billion people? 75% of 6 billion people would never even touch. I'm talking about throughout their, so if you take their salary from when they were born to when they die, doesn't add up to $1 million. I'm not saying that ever had the chance to touch $1 million at one time, right? So let's get rid of that. But that's what I'm saying. That millionaire where it gets thrown around so easily. Listen, to make $1 million, you got to do a lot, right? Not just something, a lot. And you probably fell on your face 40 times. And you got it right once. Because that's all it needs. You only got to get right once.
And this is why H.G.R.G is not sexy. You know what I'm saying? Because we talk about this. You know what I'm saying? Make $5,000 more. What's wrong with that? You know, but instead you have somebody else, you know, and I don't, it is what it is, right? Social media that'll show themselves on a private plane, show themselves on you know, in the Rolls Royce. You know, listen, it only took me 2.5 years to get here. This is the lifestyle you can live. And, you know, and that's what it is. So, and that's what we're up against. And we understand that. But the people that do join us and our students, listen, very successful. We got a really, really good high success rate. What's going on, world? It's the one and only Lance, 1/3 of H.G.R.G. You ain't got your membership yet? Go get you that. We hold your hand from A to Z. Our team is your team. I'm talking realtors. I'm talking financing. I'm talking property management. I'm talking about walkthroughs for your property, giving you the breakdowns, what the rents look like, how much it's going to cost, fixes, everything. We give you everything. Why don't you have yours? Go check us out right now at hgrg.club and get your membership now. You know, but there is one thing I want to ask you. I'm seeing this here. Building wealth beyond medicine. Elaborate. What is that? Is that a book? Is that a course? What are we looking at here?
So building wealth beyond medicine is really kind of my slogan, all right? But I also have an ebook out that really helps it's anybody, but mainly my niche audience is healthcare professionals, but helping them with the process of actually going from the drawing board to the closing table and the steps that are needed to get there. But what I really, and like I said, like you said, you could be changing your business model 40 times. All it takes is that one time for it to work. I've really been trying to get a better understanding and grasp on the the thought process behind what it takes to get to the point that, you know, when that light bulb switches and you like, oh damn, this is possible. These are the pieces that are moving around me. I feel like it's a transition that a lot of healthcare professionals need to make. So understanding within the healthcare mindset, it's like, okay, the doctors make the most, and the most as far as what doctors are making is $300,000, right? And people think 300,000 is a lot of money. Now, if I made $300,000 a year, I would be good, but that's not the highest level of money. That's not the highest level of money that you can make. And we put ourselves in this glass box by, okay, you got your doctors or CRNAs, but you got that 300,000, 275, 250, and you know that's the clinical ladder in regards of the heights that you can reach to make money. And what I think it is, it's really has to be a mindset shift that money can be endless. You know, it can be limitless because it's a resource, but understanding like you have to build that beyond just medicine and being in the healthcare space, because
I like that.
being a nurse definitely helped me leverage my income to get into real estate, but becoming
Yes,
a real
sir.
estate investor, becoming a business entrepreneur, there was a lot of personal development that I had to do. So it had nothing to do with medicine and my skills as a nurse. It all became my skills as a person. So it's really kind of helping, and this is where I made the pivot at, because I'm not pushing real estate on everybody. I'm still new into the game, but what I am pushing on everybody is the importance of the financial literacy, the mindset,
Mindset.
and actually like the process of setting the goals, right? So people want to get into real estate, but it's like, yo, you got to pump your brakes because you don't even got your ducks in order to just be functioning efficiently in life, right? If you die tomorrow, you don't have a life insurance policy. You don't understand your health insurance, or how that, as far as with deductibles and the premiums you pay, you don't understand that. So making sure you even know how much money you got coming in versus how much money you got going out. So just the financial ecosystem that people have is so poor as far as their foundation.
Yeah.
It's like there's got to be something. I feel like myself, I've always been just on it when it comes to money. Like I used to go around shoveling snow, raking leaves, walking dogs in elementary school and middle school. So I always knew how to save, and then it just progressively matured into what I know now. But when it comes to people, you gotta realize, like, one, your grandmother wasn't rich, your mother didn't come from wealth, so you a first generation wealth builder right now,
Sure.
and you gotta really create those habits and those skills. And when it just comes to managing money, if we look at it on like the wealth building pyramid, real estate and these alternative investments don't come until the end. Like, do you have an emergency fund set up if something
Yep.
goes wrong, and then you can't maintain the properties, you can't maintain the overhead, and then it starts to get into your personal life? Is your debt, do you have a do you is your debt under control? Do you know how you're paying it down? Do you know how much you owe? So it's so many pieces to the actual financial picture that I
Mm.
feel like I had to focus on with people before we start talking about the complexities of real estate. Because if you don't have that foundation together, that's you guys know that's like trying to build a house without framing, without doing anything. Like, you build it on a poor foundation. So that's really where my message has shifted to, outside of just real estate, real estate, real estate, because that's my passion. That's what I'm passionate about. That's
Yeah.
what I'm willing to take the L's in, fall down, get back up, try it again. And I know a lot of people just don't have the capacity for that. Just mentally, just as a human being, they just not built like that. But that doesn't stop you from being able to build wealth, because a person making $200,000 a year but got $175,000 in expenses is way less off than somebody who's making $70,000 a year, but they saving 50% of their income and able
Yep.
to invest the difference into the stock market and things of that nature. So it's really like understanding how money works,
Yeah.
how just money works, because in whether it's medical school, whether it's um whatever school that you go to, all we are taught is that clinical book knowledge, that medical jargon. We're not taught about finances and money and how the world works. Because if they did teach us that,
Be
who knows
dangerous.
what the economy and
Be
what the world would
dangerous.
look like if
Be dangerous.
everybody was financially literate. It would be a
That
lot
goes.
of businesses not making money. So
That goes. That goes.
Absolutely.
That goes for medical school. That goes for like plumbing school, electrical school. Like there is no school that teaches both.
you got to be an employee. They gotta breed employees. They can't just
Right.
breed everybody to be a boss. So it's
100%.
like you got to
100%.
be from school and going to school Monday through Friday, damn near 9 to 5. It's like we got to pump out these employees so that
Yeah.
the creatives, or the ones who are willing to take the risk, have those opportunities. But it's also understanding, like, I gotta get out of this employee matrix, whatever it is that you working, and understand, like, the 9 to 5 alone isn't going to do it. Nobody has ever just been rich
Yeah. That's a fact.
purely off of their
Off
job.
Let
a
me ask you
nine
this
to five.
quickly.
Shout out to Rockefeller.
I want to ask you a question quickly, right? Do you think health insurance is one of the biggest handcuffs or cuffs that keep people as employees?
Oh, as far as the employee benefits, yes, because you
Right.
got people who's scared to get their own independent health insurance, and it's
Mhm.
like, you may be making, like, so like with contracted nursing, you don't have to get the monthly deductible taken out of your check every week or every 2 weeks. But it's like that same money that they would have already been taken out, you just putting this private, I mean, you just paying this privately, but you're not stuck to that hospital or that facility. But we just so taught, as far as, your 401ks, your retirement benefits, your health insurance, because it's good benefits. Like, you got to stay at the job there, but it's like you got to also be willing to take certain risks and hold the bill yourself as well in order to be able to have that freedom.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Jerry preaches that all the time. Listen, don't be scared to keep your 9 to 5. That 9 to 5 can open doors on this side for you. You want to invest in real estate, right? Having your 9 to 5 may get you approved for a lot more than you think. Having your work history,
That's the quickest way.
it's silly. People, you don't quit your job and then say, I want to be a real estate investor. There's a lot in it. But, obviously you gave us a lot of time. I know DT wanted to do this thing at the end where he asked you a few questions here. And it's just like, like a lightning round almost. And
Okay,
just give you
let's do it.
quick answers and quick input before we let you go. And of course, we'll let you leave your social media and whatnot and what you got going and where they can find the ebook as well. Okay. So
Okay.
DT, if you would like, hit him with the lightning round, and we'll just get your answers, short answers for sure.
Okay.
Before
Okay.
we go from there.
I'm gonna defer this to Jerry. He said he was gonna be the Noriega.
You got to do it, bro.
Nah. So okay. So there's like 5 questions. Finance or cash?
Meaning to like
Real estate
finance
investment.
something versus paying cash.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say finance. I'm gonna go finance.
Okay. And any question I ask you, you could give an answer and you can give an explanation.
Oh,
You don't
yeah,
have
I'm gonna say finance just because of the fact that using other people's money. Now, you also, I'm looking at it from I got the money, but I would prefer to finance in order to leverage and be able to still have that liquidity just as a constant safety net for myself. But I don't want to be put cash all in and then be broke and who knows what could happen.
like it.
Solid answer. Solid answer. I go with that as well.
The next one is, would you rather, and this has been a controversial question, would you rather act the part, look the part, or be the part? Meaning, would you rather be on social media, would you rather look rich or in real life be secure, safe?
I would rather be the part. I'm gonna be honest, man. When we all get off this podcast, we're gonna go to sleep lay next to our wives and lay in our bed under our household. So I always say, what I'm saying, what you eat don't make me shit. So looking the part for somebody else really doesn't do anything for me at the end of the day. I would rather know that I am the part because it real recognize real at the end of the day, and you can always spot the difference.
Like
I
that.
love it. I love it.
Like that. Now let me ask you this: does your answer change if you're starting up or you're trying to do something on social media?
No, because what I've noticed, even through my platform, just authenticity always wins. You know what I'm saying? As far as when it comes to, I'm a big Wallow fan, but we control cool, right? And Hov said, you was who you was before you got here. You can't change it. You know what I'm saying? That's just the top layer. So it's like, at the end of the day, whether I'm creating a business or not, I'm always gonna be me, and people gonna just naturally gravitate to who I am, whether I look the part or whether, you know what I'm saying, I don't.
I like it. I
Absolutely.
like it. I like it. Would you one or the other? Mentorship, DIY?
Mentorship, 100%. DIY, you're gonna be cutting 3, 4, you're gonna be measuring 3, 4 times, cutting 4 or 5 times. Whether mentorship, they just listen, go to this guy. Matter of fact, take this number, tell him I sent you. Go to this guy, he gonna look out for you. I like
That's
that.
how it goes.
That's how it
really
goes, for real.
goes.
That's how we do
Know
it.
DT? Oh yeah, I got you. That's my man. It's like connections and network is more than you ever know.
Being rich or
No. Jerry,
you're
you
taking
can't
too
do this.
long.
You can't
You're
do this.
taking
You
too
can't do
long.
this. You can't do this. You can't do this.
You don't even know what's going on, bro.
Inheritance or work hard?
I'm gonna say work hard. It's a different grit and understanding. Like if you get an inheritance, you so green, you don't know right from wrong, and somebody end up tricking you out your spot and finessing you out of your money. But hard work, it's just a different mentality and mindset of those people who actually like went through the process, and then it just gets to that faking it till you make it type thing because if you really been through it, I know what kind of scars you got when we talking and having these conversations. It stands out, and you'll be able to tell the difference.
Mm,
I
like that.
believe in inheritance. You can lose that money right back right
Hmm.
after that.
Especially if
So
you haven't been, seasoned and
And
trained
taught, yeah.
athlete, right?
absolutely,
You don't have the
absolutely.
responsibility to go along with that. Jerry, so what I'm gonna do, Jerry, I'm gonna ask this question and you ask the last one, the one that you were just gonna ask.
Yeah,
Um, real estate or stock?
I'm I'm going to say I'm that's a tough one.
I know.
I'm
I
gonna say
know.
You
You're
don't,
into
listen,
you're into stocks.
yeah.
That's
you don't have to,
why.
you don't have
So
to,
so
you don't have to
I'm
pick a
not a
side.
big stock guy. I just know the returns, the return potential when it comes to stocks. Real estate it's a slow grind as far as appreciation and value over time in some years. But we're looking at and don't quote me, but let's just say real estate, you might be looking at 3 to 6% in growth. But in the stock market, you got eight, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes if you're good at trading, you know what I'm saying, you can really grow your money that way. But it's I'm a big tangible guy. I want more control over my assets. So having real estate, having physical properties that I know are generating cash flow, because that's another thing about as far as liquidity when it comes to the market, it's hard to pull out when you need it. So being able to generate cash flow, also getting tax benefits, and then my property growing in value over the years. It's so many factors to it. I got to go with real estate.
Yeah, absolutely,
Wow.
absolutely.
I'm gonna be honest, the way you started that answer, I thought you was gonna go with stock.
I thought you was going that route as
But
Nah,
well
when you
too.
finished
nah.
it, you was like, I feel like at the last second, you was like, I'm gonna go this way. Right? Jerry,
I
am I wrong?
believe. No,
Nah, I felt that. I felt that.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
I was thinking stock. I mean, because you've seen the returns that certain
Absolutely.
companies. You know, what I'm saying if you actually do your research, I'm a
Hmm.
big
Hmm.
fan of Wall Street Trapper and just how
Me
he's
too.
built his wealth through the stock market and
Yeah.
just even as a financial advisor, I understand the markets, I understand asset allocation and building a portfolio, but actually being able to watch a company, see their balance sheets and knowing which direction they're going and being able to trust in them, like real estate, I'm trusting in myself, but trusting in somebody else to run a business and make you returns is just I can't, it's hard to give my full trust in people that way. I would rather just know that I'm looking for deals, getting, you know what I'm saying, money here and there. And I just got more control. I'm a control freak. So
Yeah. No,
with
I
real
totally
estate.
get it. Totally get it. Jerry, I want you to ask the last question, but before
I'll
we go to
ask
that,
too, but go ahead.
that's fine. Before we go there, I would like to intrigue your not only your intelligence, but your genius. Um, I feel like you judged real estate based off of appreciation when you compared it to stock.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would intrigue you or advise you if I could, respectfully, cash flow. Seek seek that out. See what that does for your bottom line. Maybe try that over the next 30, 60, 90 days. And I would love to ask you that question 90 days from now after you've sought that out because there's a difference, right? Obviously, appreciation and cash flow, huge differences. What's more important to you?
Definitely
Is
cash
cash
flow,
flow?
but like I was saying, because it's that multi effect of one, not just the appreciation, but also at the same time, I'm knowing I'm getting paid from this right
Yeah,
now. So being able to have that cash flow, that's the big swing in the difference because it's not like I'm pulling from my stock portfolio every day, but I know every month I'm getting this net positive
yeah.
cash flow that I'm
Do you have
walking
an
away
idea of
from.
what that is?
For me,
Yeah,
as
like
far as how much
percentage wise,
percentage and how much I'm bringing home?
cash flow.
So as far as my properties, I'm at about I'm at about, and like I said, I ran my numbers wrong, but I'm getting about 2% of my like
Investment.
1.5, 2% of my actual value of my property.
Cash flow.
Cash flow, yeah.
If
Positive cash flow.
if you can invest in a market that gave you 10%, what would that do for you?
Oh, I mean, all more money is good money. So that would put a lot more in my pocket.
Do yourself a favor.
Hmm.
Just investigate that.
Okay.
If that's real, right?
Okay.
If that's a real thing, and then what markets is that real in,
Okay.
right? And let's revisit this conversation in 30 to 60 days.
Gotcha. Okay.
I
So
think your answer might change.
first question would be real estate buying right. Is it a risk or a safe bet?
Buying right, well, when it comes to investing at the end of the day, always a risk. But buying right, I'm gonna say, you said it was a risk or what? A
Safe
safe
bet.
bet. I'm gonna
Yeah,
say buying right is a safe bet. At the end of men lie, women lie, but the numbers don't lie at the end of the day. So if things you have as least unforeseen circumstances happen as possible, and you as close to the numbers that you ran in the beginning, definitely the safe bet. Safe bet.
absolutely. Being rich or having respect.
Mm. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I'm gonna go with having respect. I'm gonna go with having respect at the end of the day because I'm a
You
big
better
I'm a
than
big
me.
res I'm a
You
big
better than
respect
me.
guy at the end of the day. I've seen, like I said, I'm from Baltimore. I've seen a lot of rich dudes come through the block and get mollywopped or just get
Disrespect.
disrespected.
Molly
It's
Wop.
like you
I ain't
don't
heard that
you
in a
don't get
long time.
yeah,
Molly Wop.
I did that for you. You know what I'm saying? You consider you a dinosaur. I took it back for you.
Molly
But
Wop. I like that.
yeah, it's just like it's just the prime example right now. That's relevant in the culture. But the Drake versus Kendrick. Drake, we could say he the rich one. He, you know what I'm saying, got all the number one streams. But when it come to LA, when it come to artistry, when it comes to people who I look up to and respect when it comes to their opinion about music, Kendrick is just like I just feel like he's above him when it comes to a respect level. And I
Absolutely.
want the respect because at the end of the day, being rich, like I said, you never know the vultures that's trying to get to your spot, take you off or do whatever. I also look at a lot of stuff from the level of like nature, but then also like human nature. So now just because you rich though, you don't mean you got respect, and don't mean that the people that's trying to take that wealth from you have respect for you. But if somebody respects you at the end of the day, it's a lot of boundaries and lines they won't cross. But then also they might try to help put you in a better position because it's like I
Yep.
respect you, so I got that face card that money just can't buy.
Yeah. I
Money,
like
power, respect is the key to life.
it's kind of a sort of a trick question, right? It
That was
really
That's
is.
definitely a
that's
trick. That was a good one.
And that's why we ask it, right? So because with what you said, I mean, I'm not going to refute you, but I'm saying that when if you're rich, right, and obviously the opposition is respect. If you're rich, who cares who respects you at the certain, because at the end of the day, those if you're rich, you're still yourself. So those who are going to be around you are going to be around you, right? They're not going to respect, they're going to love you. So I don't need people to respect me. I'm rich. I need people to love me. So respect that goes, wherever. And sometimes respect is generic, right? It's like, oh, like for example,
Just standard.
your platform gives you respect by certain people who just like thumb thug. They flick up, flick up, flick up, and they see your post. Oh my, I respect him. He's a nurse. He talks that shit. I like what he's saying. He's positive. I respect him. But what benefit does that do? Because I feel like human beings have energy, right? So if anybody in my circle has to be a positive energy, anything negative, it's over for you. I'm done with like I don't want nothing to do with that. So positive energy just means you're just a positive person. But negativity, sometimes respect is negative because they respect you for what you've been known for, what you've done, or like who they know you to be back in the day. You know what I'm saying? I want if I desire to be rich, I want to just be me and be this. respect. I mean, that to me, it's especially nowadays, it doesn't go nowhere.
But
Doesn't lead.
But as you
I rebuttal.
as you use this money and you continue, like life gonna go on, you still gonna have to build relationships. It's not gonna just be that I'm rich, I got the people around me, because like you're an ambitious person, so you're gonna want to stay rich. You're gonna try to use that money, grow that money, and if you can just get, if you only getting into rooms based off your capital alone, but you don't know anybody that has true intentions, or your best intentions at heart, which comes with respect. I feel like it depends on what you define and how you want to, hold the goalpost. But I just feel like if your value is determined based on a dollar amount, it's like you're not a hoarder,
1,000%
or
I
for
agree with you.
But that's coming with like the
like
conversation,
yeah,
respect or fear,
yeah,
right?
Right.
right, exactly,
Do you respect Steve Jobs?
um I respect his mind, but him as a person, no.
Do
He's
you
just,
love him?
no. I have no emotional connection to that person at all.
Is he rich?
Stupid rich,
Would you
stupid.
buy his products?
Was
Yeah, I buy his
You understand
product.
what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
where's the you don't
Yeah,
respect him,
yeah,
but
yeah. But that
if he drops a new product tomorrow, you're probably going to be one of the first people to buy it.
two things. I rebuttal that love. You want people to love you. So if they love you for the wrong reason, it doesn't go nowhere.
No, listen, I'm not advocating. I'm
No,
playing,
I'm just
playing devil's advocate. I'm not saying that I'm on one side or the other.
rebutting what you
You asked the
said.
question. I know it's a trick question. That's why I said what I said. I'm not saying that I stand on one side or the other. I like what his answer was. I do. But devil's advocate by saying, it's a trick question. One could see it this way as well.
And Jobs got to his level not by playing. He worked his ass off to get to his level. It wasn't
Yeah,
just
100%.
tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So yes,
I-
the respecting is kind of like a thin line,
I
but
think
he earned his respect busting his ass.
Right, yeah. I feel like he was well respected before he got rich, especially within those. I mean, I heard, I heard a story in regards to Steve Jobs. So as CDs and what I'm saying, that stuff was coming out, um, Steve Jobs was bringing out the iPod, right? So
Yeah.
everything, you could have 10, 20 CDs on this one little thing. And I forgot who the music pioneer or mogul was at the time, but let's just say a Leor Cohen or something. He's like, listen, you're gonna put us out of business. Like you're gonna really throw off our market by being able to put everything into this device.
On this
And he
little
was,
device.
yeah, and he's like, listen, you know what I'm saying? Businesses I don't know his words verbatim, but in a sense, industries were meant to be created and then ultimately overtaken by,
Mhm.
what I'm saying, the next level of technology. So
Right.
it's
Absolutely.
like, I'm sorry, I can't, that don't got nothing to do with me. You need to be more innovative in your
That's
lane.
it.
So it's
Beat
just like a
me.
certain level of respect that comes with, like, I know I'm going to destroy you, but that's just what comes along with this. And then what can you say to him after that? Right? Especially when this guy know his stuff. You
Yeah.
know he know his stuff. So it's not even a question or a doubt in regards of how it happening. So I don't know. I just, to
It's kind of like
me,
the Elon Musk effect right now.
exactly,
Kind of like
exactly.
that.
Exactly.
I think we all desire, of course, I think as human beings, we all desire to be respected,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah,
we all
right.
desire that. We would love to be the ultra successful person as well as maintaining our success and not compromising that. Of course, and respect, I'm sorry,
Mhm.
and not compromising that, of course. But when you throw respect and rich together, that's when, the thing that,
And I think that's the thing we can go back and forth forever. But just to, really close what you're saying,
yeah.
with the Steve Jobs, it goes Blockbuster, Redbox, Netflix, right? They all took each other. You see what I'm saying? So like he
That's
wasn't
right. I
lying
like
when
what
he
you did
said
there.
it.
I like what you did there. I
Yeah.
like what you did there.
So then there's, it's other podcasts than H.G.R.G. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. We coming.
Hey, listen, when y'all go to the networking events, you gotta watch him. Y'all gotta watch Lance,
Yeah,
because Lance he gonna rub a couple people the wrong way. Like, who
I'm
this
telling
guy
you.
keep
I'm
Hey,
telling
listen.
you.
Hey, listen, Ty. Before we got on this chat 20 minutes ago, we had a full blown. Lance took something far left and we went far right. We had to talk about it, like, yo, hold up, what's going on right now? Lance like, listen, this is where I see it. But yeah, no, I get it.
That's me. But I'm always here for my team, though.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Well,
last loyalty
100%,
to the end of the
100%.
day.
one last question for me. If you would change anything in your life, what would that be? Growing into real estate, I know you dabble in stocks. What would you change, or what you wouldn't change anything?
If I could change one thing about if I could change anything about myself, it would really be like of course we know about Mamba mentality and Kobe Bryant, but I'm I grew up in this generation where it was like, I accomplished a goal. All right, I get the gratification from it. Now I want to get that feeling again. So I set another goal, accomplish it. And I wish I had which I'm working on building, but just the everyday grind, you know what I'm saying? Trusting the process, just every day committing to becoming the best real estate investor I can be, the best husband, the best father, the best financial advisor. In those being my pillars and my foundation, really focusing on becoming the best I can be in that, and like not losing myself in the process, but being so dedicated and so disciplined that the heights that we reach or the championships that we win aren't aren't like monumental to me because I already knew this was gonna happen. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? I put in the
Yeah,
work because to me it's those day in and day outs. It's not the championship game, it's the practices, it's the meetings, it's all of that.
yeah,
So not losing focus along the way because I tell myself all the time, man, if I just had way more discipline and focus than I do now, and people might say that I have a lot, but it's like if I just didn't let myself get distracted and get on the phone for 30 minutes and catch myself, but it's like even if when that distraction and that looking for that dopamine hit comes, it's like being standing on business enough to know like we're not doing that and just focusing on the same thing every day. I wish I could focus on the
absolutely.
same thing every day, so that I can look up 20 years from now and have 7 rings. You know what I'm saying? So I could be at that point. Um, that's really what I would say for myself. I wish I could be like really just and a lot of people might not agree because people want to enjoy life and live life to the fullest. But me, I want to become the most efficient form of myself that I can be. So like when I see like a Kendrick Lamar, a Jay-Z, a people who are like a Lil Wayne, when they talk about they step into the booth and they just become something else. They just become a different animal. Like I wish that I was that within what I'm doing right now. So just specialize in that being my strong suit. That's what I would honestly change. But
Dope,
I'm
man.
human just like everybody else, man.
That's
I
fine.
doubt
Bless.
myself a lot. I look at other people, compare myself. Comparison is the thief of joy. I I have limiting beliefs sometimes, but it's just constantly overcoming them. I wish that I could eliminate all of that and just be like a Terminator when it came to just
Because
putting
you're
in work.
human, man. And that's
Yeah,
true.
yeah, and that's it. And that's it. Like, really giving myself grace as well too. And understanding that I'm human and that's just what it is and living it being, the human experience.
Yeah, for sure, for
No,
sure.
I respect it, man.
That's dope.
Appreciate that answer.
Yeah, Kendrick Lamar, he don't drop albums like that. It don't matter. It don't matter. Don't worry about it. It does. That's a whole nother album. That's a whole nother
They
podcast.
don't give you much to hold on to in between the albums, but man, the pieces that
Nah,
he
he's a
put
great
out
artist.
is
I'm always kidding.
Bro, I agree 100% with Kendrick. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lance.
So Ty, listen, we appreciate you, man. You answered everything. We've
Yeah,
learned
I
a lot
appreciate it.
about you today. You just keep tugging, keep going. It looks like you're in the right direction. Well respected as well, and that's why we had you on the podcast. It was definitely a pleasure for all of us to have you. But tell the people where they can find you at, give them your social media, where they can find the ebook, and kind of give them, all your credentials and whatnot, so they can go find you.
Also,
so
your the group that you have as well.
yeah. So you guys can find me on Instagram at the Urban Nurse, YouTube at the Urban Nurse. That's my two primary platforms. I'm also on LinkedIn, as Tyrin Tyson, as well as Facebook. But I have a community as well called the Healthcare Hustle. If you know somebody in healthcare, friends with somebody, or what I'm saying, just looking to stop by, you can tap in via my Instagram page. I have the link in my bio has everything in there. And if you a part of H.G.R.G, if you're looking to get into real estate, if you are in real estate, but you really need help creating that blueprint to get to the point of retirement, because there's going to be a day where we all can't make money from the work that we actually do. And it's this time of accumulation right now before we get to that point that's important. So I help people as a licensed financial advisor, not just a financial coach or just a guy who did it and now trying to teach other people to do it, but actually going through the process, being with license and with FINRA and the SEC. So I'm really about people helping them set their goals, figure out what steps we need to take with the resources they have, and helping them get to that point of self-actualization. So just tapping with me via my social media at the Urban Nurse. That's really the best thing, and then we can take it from there.
Absolutely. We'll put everything in the description as well, so you guys can go ahead and link up with Ty. I appreciate you guys. Ty, we appreciate you. Just Jerry, DT, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Subscribe, guys.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah. What they say? I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the